Agency group has agreed to put together a little budget to take the event on. So just having the one ad or series of ads, because we're doing it online and offline, and doing it as one event doesn't work. So each of the agency groups will take an element. I think we're going to focus on refugees, others will focus on climate change, another holding company on climate change, another holding company on diversity. So we'll pick an issue, and then we've agreed a budget between us, between the six, and we will use that budget to sponsor and develop events around each of those issues. The other thing with Common Ground, what we'd like to do is to take that concept of, usually we compete with one another, but in this case, support to our clients. And there's all sorts of ways that one could apply it, without going into the details at this stage, of this idea of cooperating where usually you are competitive. So you can think of all sorts of ways, so almost like an ice bucket challenge, if you like, where you can broaden the concept of common ground to areas. It can be all sorts of things. It could be sport, it could be as well as business, it could be politics, where people say in an arresting way that they're supporting these 17 goals. So what I hope in a year's time is that we'll see a series of events by the six holding companies and by others embracing the importance of it. With climate change, the COP21 signing of climate change in Paris, it's noticeable that the momentum seems to have been lost a little bit. And I know the powers that be in relation to that, I've heard firsthand, a concern that momentum that was established in Paris on climate change is in danger of stalling, primarily because of lack of financial resources to make the investments necessary to improve the yield on climate change investments. So I think the question is a very good one, is how can we ensure that these don't become PR events? Good PR events, well worth doing, but they have more longevity.
How much money are you putting in?
Well, we're putting, I think it's a budget of $200,000 that we are per holding company. I think that's two. Is it? Sorry, is it wrong? I thought it was 200,000. The rules that can impose, which have been changed again this year and have become very complicated. I think actually, if you look deeper down, I know in the case of Conan Wolf, for example, they won a number of awards, but because of the way the awards are submitted and the way the point system works, there's a sort of a system at work which means that the PR input doesn't get the credit that it should do, and that's something I think that they should look at a little bit. But there is, if you've been coming to Cannes for many years, there is a way of submitting these entries that will be more successful than other ways. And I think it's a question of the public relations companies and public affairs companies becoming more attuned to it. What is really interesting is that because of the development, particularly of social media, and maybe to a lesser extent data, but certainly social media in a Cannes context, it means that public relations agencies are doing more and more of this content work. Again, using Conan Wolf as an example, because I know that Donna in Parato was exercised about this. I think they won something like 9 or 10 awards, which they didn't get credit for, but by virtue of the system. So I don't think they should be discouraged, or that you should be disappointed, or on their behalf, or they should be disappointed. It's a question of just looking at the rules and looking at the way these entries are presented, because there is, I haven't served on a judging panel, but you're incarcerated in some subterranean basement somewhere for 2 or 3 days, and it is pretty grueling. It's not sitting out on the Croisette or on the Carlton Beach, sunning yourself and looking at a few pieces of paper.